One ping. Family group chat. I'm officially done with Lisa. Divorce in progress. Don't worry, she'll survive. Before I could even react, another one came in. Time for an upgrade. Drinks this Friday? My blood went cold. No warning, no conversation. Just a group chat. Announcement like I was some subscription he'd canceled. His sister replied with clapping emojis. One of his colleagues dropped a meme of someone running free. Even our oldest kid replied, "Wait, for real?" I tried calling him. Voicemail. Texted, "What the hell are you doing?" No answer. I stood up, phone still in hand, and walked toward the bedroom. Maybe to clear my head, maybe to scream into a pillow. But I stopped cold in the hallway. His closet, half empty, his drawers, cleared out. I opened the garage. His suitcase was gone. He had already moved out. And he hadn't even told me. The house he snuck out of had always been in my name. I bought it. I maintained it. He couldn't take it from me. He walked out of my house like a coward. More replies rolled in. They were laughing, celebrating. Me? I was just there. The target. The punchline. We'd been married 22 years. I raised our kids, carried his burdens, kept our life together through everything. And now he was discarding me in front of everyone like I was nothing. I felt the rage first. Not sadness, not confusion. Rage. They all thought I'd disappear, break down, stay quiet. But as I stared at that screen, at their emojis, their jokes, I whispered one sentence to myself. Slow, steady, ice cold. You just made the biggest mistake of your life. I didn't cry, not right away. My body felt numb, like my skin didn't fit anymore. My phone was still in my hand, the screen glowing with their laughter. I just kept staring. Every minute, a new message popped in. Guess we're doing shots Friday. You better get the dog in the deal, bro. She doesn't even like him. I had raised that dog since he was a puppy. But sure, why not? Let them turn even that into a punchline. I walked to the bathroom and stared at my reflection like I didn't recognize myself. My hair was tied up, no makeup, an old t-shirt. I looked exhausted, like someone who could be discarded. And then my daughter texted me, not privately, in the group chat. Mom, what's going on? Did you know about this? I stared at her message. No, baby, I didn't. I found out at the same time you did, along with everyone else. But I couldn't bring myself to type anything. I was too scared I'd say something that would make it worse. He'd already built the narrative. If I pushed back now, I'd just look crazy, like he probably already told them I was. And then came the final blow. A voice note. From him. He was laughing. Like really laughing. Man, the silence is gold. I told y'all she wouldn't say a word. It's like I predicted her exact meltdown. So predictable. He wanted this. He'd orchestrated it. Not just the divorce, the spectacle. I suddenly saw it all. The cold distance the past few months. The random friends who stopped talking to me. The way his sister suddenly got bold with her little passive-aggressive comments. He'd been planning it, building the case, gaslighting me behind my back so when this moment came, no one would be on my side. And damn it, it was working. That night, I sat alone in the dark, scrolling through every comment, every emoji, every fake little joke. I saw the people I had welcomed into my home mocking me like I was some freak show. I wasn't just heartbroken. I was erased. But underneath all that humiliation, something else was growing. It wasn't sadness. It wasn't desperation. It was clarity. Rage, sharpened into purpose. Let them laugh. Let him play king for now. Because while they celebrated his freedom, I was already building something he'd never see coming. I didn't sleep. Not a second. just sat there in the dark, the blue light of my phone burning into my face while my mind spun in 100 directions. They wanted silence from me. They got it. But what they didn't realize is that silence has teeth. Around 4 a.m., I got up, made coffee, and sat down at the kitchen table. Like I was prepping for war. Because that's what it was now. A war I didn't start, but one I'd damn sure finish. I started by rereading the entire chat. Every message, every reaction, screenshot, screenshot, screenshot. I archived every emoji, every smug little voice note. Evidence. Then I went to his page. His socials were wide open, of course. He'd always loved attention. I saw the photo he'd just posted. Him and his new girlfriend. A 27-year-old life coach named Crystal who wore matching gym sets and captioned everything with butterfly emojis. I almost laughed. Underneath the post, "Freedom looks good on you." Upgrade of the year. I could have commented. I could have gone off. But no, that would have been too easy. He wanted a reaction. He expected it. So I gave him nothing. Not a word, but I made a new account. Not to stalk, to build. Her name was Sophie. She was bold, clever, independent. Everything Crystal pretended to be. She had no photos at first. Just a bio that said, "Not here for the drama, just honesty." He followed her within 2 days. 2 freaking days. It was almost too easy. The messages started that same week. Harmless, flirty, testing the waters. I played it slow. Warm, but detached. Mysterious. The opposite of clingy. He took the bait like a starving dog. By the end of week 3, he was confiding in me, telling Sophie how hard things had been lately, how his ex was emotionally unstable, how no one really understood how much he'd given up in that marriage. I nearly choked reading it. But I stayed in character. "I'm sorry that happened to you," I wrote. "You seem like someone who just wants peace." Hook, line, sinker. Every day I became more of what he thought he wanted. Every day I let him dig the hole deeper. Screenshots, voice notes, photos. He sent things I never even asked for. Things he should have never said. Things that would ruin him. And still, he had no idea. He thought he was winning, thought he was charming me, seducing this mysterious new woman who just got him. Meanwhile, I was building a digital vault, a time bomb, ticking louder every day. And when he asked to meet in person, I smiled, because I already knew exactly where it would happen, how it would go, who would be watching. He just didn't know. He was walking into his own destruction. Want to see what real revenge looks like? Hit subscribe, because the best part's coming. He wanted to meet. Of course he did. We'd been talking for 2 months by then, every day. Morning check-ins, flirty voice notes at night, inside jokes, fake vulnerability. He called Sophie his escape from all the chaos. Told her she was the first woman in years who really saw him. Ironic, considering I'd seen all of him. The real him. Long before he ever met Sophie. "Let's grab a drink," he messaged. Low-key place. Just you and me. No pressure. I said I was nervous. He said he was too. I made him wait a week. Then I chose the spot, a quiet bar on the east side. Classy, not too flashy. Somewhere he wouldn't expect to run into anyone he knew. But I knew better. I knew his friends always hung out there on Thursdays. I knew the bartender. I even knew the guy who managed the sound system. And that part was crucial. I gave him a time. 7:30. Told him I'd be in a black dress. Told him not to bring flowers. He showed up at 7:15, wearing a blazer, hair done, nervous smile, holding a single white rose. So predictable. He sat at the bar, checked his phone, smoothed his shirt. kept glancing at the door like a teenage boy waiting for a first date. And right above him, mounted on the wall, was a flat-screen TV. At exactly 7:30, the music in the bar dropped to silence. The screen lit up. It started with his messages. Not the tame ones, the filth, the lies, the ones where he talked about me, Lisa, like I was some deranged lunatic. Then came his voice notes. His pathetic attempts to sound deep, misunderstood, poetic. Then the photos he sent. Yes, those photos. People stopped talking. Forks froze midair. His friends turned their heads, jaws slowly dropping. He looked up, and there he was, watching himself, listening to himself. His fantasy world crashing down in full HD. He panicked, tried to get the bartender's attention, waving, yelling, "Turn it off! Turn that shit off!" The bartender just shrugged. I'd already paid him. And then, finally, I stepped inside. I was wearing black, but not the dress he expected. Just jeans and a coat, hair down. Calm, controlled. He saw me, and everything in his face changed. From confusion to shock to horror. I didn't say a word. I didn't need to. I just looked at him. Let him feel it. Let him burn in that silence. Behind him, his own words kept playing, over and over. I walked past him, slow, deliberate, like he wasn't even there. And I left the rose he brought on the bar before walking out. By the time I got in my car, my phone was blowing up. Calls from unknown numbers. A message from his sister. WTF? Did you just do? And from him, nothing, not one word. He went dark, because that's what cowards do. They vanish when the mask falls off. And I didn't post about it, didn't brag. I let the silence do the work, but word spreads, especially when it's that messy, that perfect. Within days, people unfollowed him. His little girlfriend? Gone. His coworkers? Uncomfortable. The bar? Everyone was still talking. And me? I was finally breathing again. I didn't destroy him with screams or fire. I let him destroy himself. I just handed him the mirror. And when he looked into it, he shattered. I thought he'd hide forever. After that night, after the entire bar saw him melt into nothing, I figured he'd disappear. But cowards like him, they always resurface, just not in the way you expect. It started quietly. A post on his Instagram a week later. A black screen with the words, "Some people will do anything for attention." No likes, no comments, just digital dust. Then another post, him alone in a gym mirror, sweaty and broken. Captioned, "Rebuilding from zero." He was trying to spin it, turn himself into the victim, rewrite the narrative. Classic. But what he didn't realize is, no one cared anymore. His charm was gone. The mask had cracked. And once people see what's underneath, you can't unsee it. Still, I kept watching. Quietly. Not obsessed. Just curious. Then, out of nowhere, I got an email. Subject line, "We need to talk." From him. I stared at it for a long time. Almost deleted it, but curiosity got the better of me. Inside was a single sentence. "Please meet me, just once. No tricks, I swear." Against every rational bone in my body, I said yes, not because I wanted to fix anything, but because I wanted to see what rock bottom looked like up close. We met at a park. Public. Safe. He looked like a ghost, hollow-eyed, thinner, unsure. He barely said hello before launching in. "I messed up," he started. "I know that now. What I didn't expect it to turn into that. I thought it would be funny, or maybe I just didn't think." I stayed quiet. Let him squirm. "You really got me," he said with a sad little laugh. "I mean, Damn. You turned me inside out. He paused, like he expected me to smile. I didn't. I lost everything, he went on. Crystal's gone. My job's on thin ice. People avoid me like I'm diseased. You broke me, Lisa. Finally, I spoke. No, I said. You broke you. I just gave you the opportunity. He nodded, looked down at his hands. I guess I deserved that, he whispered. You guess? I said. My voice was calm, cold. You don't guess when you publicly humiliate the mother of your children. He swallowed hard. I don't know how to come back from this. I leaned forward slightly. That's the thing, I said. You don't. You don't get to come back the same. You don't get to wipe it clean. He looked up, desperate. So what now? Are we just enemies forever? I stared at him for a long moment. No, I said. We're not enemies. We're not anything. And that is your punishment. I stood up, wiped the bench off with my hand, and walked away. No drama, no final explosion. Just the sound of him breathing alone on a bench, in a world that no longer revolved around him. I didn't need more. I didn't want more. Because the truth was, he was already finished. Not because I destroyed him, but because I let him reveal exactly who he really was. And once you see someone clearly, you can't unsee it. He wanted to be remembered. Instead, he became invisible. I walked away from that park and never looked back. No dramatic speech, no teary goodbye. Just the quiet satisfaction of knowing I'd said everything I needed to, without screaming, without begging, without lowering myself to his level. That was power. That was the real revenge. For weeks after, my phone stayed quiet. No calls, no drama, and for the first time in a long, long time, I felt peace. Not the fake kind people post about online, sunsets and filtered coffee. I mean real peace, the kind that wraps around you like armor, the kind that lets you breathe without flinching. He tried to re-enter my life the way cowards do. Quiet, pitiful, full of carefully chosen words. I've changed. I'm working on myself. I know I messed up. I read every message. I just didn't answer. Because he wasn't really sorry. He was just lonely. The difference is everything. And as I moved forward, things shifted. People noticed. Friends who had once believed his side started trickling back in. Polite messages, awkward attempts to reconnect. Some apologized. Most didn't. They just said things like, I had no idea it was that bad. If I'd known what he did, you handled it better than I ever could. I didn't need their validation anymore. But it was funny how fast people flipped once the truth leaked out. I had no interest in revenge anymore. That part was done. What I wanted was to live in a world where he no longer existed. Not in my mind, not in my routines, not in my future. I didn't even hate him. You need to care to hate. He became what he tried to make me. Invisible. And that was beautiful. I bought myself a new journal. On the first page I wrote, "This life belongs to me now." No more apologizing. No more shrinking. No more doubting my instincts. He tried to ruin me publicly, so I let him ruin himself, quietly. And the best part? I never touched him. I never screamed, never exposed him in a headline, never dragged him through courts or tabloids. I just handed him a mirror. He did the rest. Sometimes people ask if I regret anything, if I'd go back and do it differently. Not a chance. I don't want him back. I don't want his apology. I don't want closure. Because closure implies there's still something left to close. There isn't. And now, I don't think about him at all. But every once in a while, I'll hear about someone who humiliated their partner, mocked them, tried to erase them publicly. And I think to myself, be careful who you try to break. Some of us come back sharper. I didn't just survive, I rebuilt. And I made damn sure he'd never forget the woman he tried to bury. Because I didn't disappear. I simply became untouchable.